Their defensive side on Haven is their strong point. That's where we see them racking up wins. I believe they have about a 75% win rate on rounds for defensive side. So picking up a lot here on attack is really going to benefit them. They need them.
Yeah, and interestingly, something to note as far as the Gen.G attack is concerned is sort of their default tendencies. I mentioned this previously. There is definitely data on them, but maybe no time to go into that, Riv, because we are straight into the pistol right now, and we'll already see a very fast hit coming in from Gen.G with the spike going down on the A side.
Envy with 3 coming into the site. Gen.G just plows right through that one. We're going to be seeing if they can retake here. FNS looking to come around from behind, as you would expect. The Cypher doing a bit of the lurk, but down. Crashies trades it out, but Will gets the retribution, trying to get the ghost. Getting a little greedy there for a few more guns. He's going to get himself taken out, but it seems like it's just going to be a quick take on a Gen.G. Pulls the trigger immediately and does not let Envy get a chance on that round.
Yeah, great stuff. Really good, obviously, to start off for Gen.G. You want to see the underdogs doing a good job in how they start things off. And one thing, obviously, it's not as bad as it was. We did have a really crazy meta for a while when the Stinger was, a bit less expensive, a bit more consistent on the spray and the spread, and we saw people running and gunning with that, and as well as the frenzy, and it caused a lot of issues to stabilize after taking a pistol. But it seems like teams are doing a better job in playing these anti-ecos, so we'll take a note here as to how Gen.G approach this. They can also use this round to kind of start to set the expectation as to how they want to default and how they want to put presence on the map at this early timing in the round.
All right, where do they go from here? So spikes dropped. You can tell this is going to be a slow one for now. And I like the fact that they're hard bonusing on this one. They really don't want to buy anything, carry what they can to the next rounds. You'll see a lot of people going Bulldog sometimes if they're operators, and they carry that into the next few. But here, just a few Spectres. And again, walking right in. Envy's feeling like the retakes are going to be how they play these ones on the saves. And it's a slow walk in. Gen.G feeling comfortable in these first few as they should. Shouldn't have too much trouble.
Yeah, looking pretty good so far. Just one kill there going Envy's way. So Gen.G able to maintain most of their economy, and a nice little flank there from Sean. Haven't spoken too much about Sean just yet. Obviously someone I think that, his gameplay is going to force us to make him a talking point, I would imagine, given how, skilled he is. But enough about that. We'll have the first buy round coming through, Riv, and previously I was mentioning about the defaults of Gen.G. We can expect more of a mid presence and going into maybe C long pressure as well to finish rounds around the A site. That might be something that we'll see that's characteristic, but Gen.G will likely also want to mix things up. So this is the round to start to set the expectation. Yeah. So this is a pretty big one.
Blade Storm already there for Win. He's going to activate immediately, and they want to pull it again, trying to get that straight in. Paranoia stops Win in his tracks for just a moment. Sean is already in. Mummy backs up to get a frag for himself as Caboose answers as well, and the aggression seems to sting Gen.G a little bit this round. They recoup a bit in their positioning, calm out where everybody could be. As we take a look on the mini-map, it looks like a great push for Food is going to be their demise here, coming for Window. That's a double, that's a triple for Food, and that's going to be the round as Envy put themselves on the board.
Yeah, really well played there by Gen.G initially to gain that space, but when you look at it a bit more closely, there is this element that, giving up sort of some of that mid presence and that mid control from Envy, the B site's very retakeable, so you're not as worried about that. And because there was no defaulting, there was no presence or work done by Gen.G towards the A lobby side of things, we see that clears so much space for Food to get a very quick flank, and we saw how dangerous that was. His teammates couldn't help him. They were dealing with the retake from 2 other sides of their own. It's just chaos. So I would expect Gen.G to slow things down in some of the future rounds, but we're back into it. Looks like they want to go for some A lobby pressure to begin with. It actually looks like they are looking to send it on A, actually.
You have the Phoenix ultimate on defense. Food should be able to make that work after an amazing round. Really able to shut down the dagger, the Blade Storm coming in from Win. And they're going to work A again. They worked for them the first few rounds. I think they feel comfortable with the angles as they move in. The cover for Cypher's traps on the back are great. And it's a full retake here from Envy. They feel that once again. We'll see if they can use their util to get back in here. Full retakes, I feel like, have a little bit of a benefit to them. Yes, you have to work against the spike. That's the truth. But I feel like there's better return on your utility. Where you're going to fire it towards the corner, there's more likely to be a person. And around that corner, it's going to be Hwin. And they lose a lot of that utility to get from Sova to get back into the site. It's almost imperative for a Haven A take.
Yeah, you're totally right. That was such a valuable pick and some great space. Now you can see that Envy really are very concerned about this. They have to try to clear that out. Takes them some extra time. Starting to make the effort now forward, trying to push through from the window. Gen.G looking good on the defense so far. And Envy, they are looking to back away here. They've lost a lot. They haven't really gained much for it. And so they have to call it. The save is there. And looks like they should be able to get away with all of these rifles. And Gen.G, they've done a good job here. And this was all about the retake, just like you said. Riv, Envy realized what was possible. They kind of set up for it. They had the ability to have all of that utility early on. I think this is one point that we should make clear to people as well, is that when a team plays really fast into a site, if you as the defenders do just give it up and play retake, you have full utility at that point in the round. Nothing's been expended, so that usually will help massively on your chances for a retake.
Yeah, it's okay to take it slow. Just the added pressure feels good once you realize maybe they saw me, but now they have to worry about me. They know I'm here and my team has an advantage to maybe get around the backside. We're starting off Food and Hwin on the top for both of their teams. We've seen the ultimates already from them as everybody's coming up and has them on deck. We'll see if the alt orb plays are coming to be. It looks like there might be one here for the side of Gen.G as they make their way towards long. Two of them working towards long C. Looks like this is going to be the first time towards the C site, Dan. We'll see how they play it.
Super fast round yet again. Really fast pacing coming from Gen.G. And this time, Envy with more of a defense, trying to actually hold on to the backside of the site, behind the cage, behind the dark cover. It's working out so far. Mummy able to hold on to position. Now they're able to maybe push position. There's no space for the spike to get planted. They have to fight their way out of this one. Mikhail is going to do just that, but not for too much longer. Caboose and Crash, he's still on the site, and they'll be able to lock things down. So, really good defense from Envy. They were not giving up the site for free this time, and it worked out. Does Gen.G slow it down now? They've had really fast rounds. This would be maybe a timing on the next spy to go for a slower play.
I think it's a great call because you saw how fast you have Envy rotating around. Caboose gets there, blast packing over the trap at the backside of C that Cypher had set up. And wait for that. Why not? Look for them to be always pushing forward, and you can take them out here again. I mean, we know Envy for doing that, right? They don't really have a defensive side. They just have offense. If they have blast packs as well, you'll see them going forward. Here, it's going to be a little bit onto B. Sean gets spammed down, or Sean spams Mummy down, rather, as Crassy's trades one back onto Hwin. It looks like B may be a touch-and-go thing here for Gen.G, as they just want to get the scatter on Envy to see if any of these sites are open, and I'm sure GMD is making that call right now.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think that Envy's doing a good job in reacting so far, using the drone to get that mid-round information on the A-long position. Actually, I don't think it spotted anything, and there's that lurk you were talking about from GMD creeping up. I think he got past the cam as well, and now it's going to create a lot of issues. He's going to be able to get himself using the alt TP all the way over to the A site, and in terms of a positional thing here, Gen.G have completely outplayed Envy because of that lurk from GMD. That really created a lot of issues, and we saw that Gen.G capitalized on some of that conditioning already. We saw, once again, that really fast pace. They were putting a lot of pressure towards B. So the sense of urgency is huge because you're expecting them to actually go for it. So that pulls a huge defender rotation, which allows GMD to creep up into C. Then you're wondering, okay, they're resetting, but what are they doing? We've just lost so much info because we had to give up A and C because we thought they were going to hit B. And then that gives the whole map for Gen.G to play with. So that's Gen.G's default and kind of attacking strategies. It's working out so far.
And honestly, against Envy, when you know they're going to be aggressive, why not get them off their first angle or how hard they're pushing? Make them think a little bit different, because once they feel like they're in control, Envy will take over the game. So I love what you're saying. Gen.G's kind of trying to scatter Envy at the beginning of the round, and it's been working so far as we get around 7-4 to 2 here. Buys on both sides. And this is going to be a second round loss if it comes in for Envy. So they're going to look at 1,400 on their scoreboard on top of what they have now. So not really in a buy phase if they go to this one, maybe with light armor if they want to, if Envy loses this round. So things could be starting to get tight with economy as Gen.G starts to grab a hold.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Envy will try to do to adjust. Some early presence, just farming that ult orb there. Really important there for Sean. Get the run it back. Such a valuable ultimate. One of the most valuable ultimates. A 6 charger as well, so you can get it up pretty quickly. And this A lobby control is really important because this is an area that Envy could be pushing because they're expecting so much mid and C presence early in their timings. It's important that Gen.G keep Envy honest and don't allow them to just push that for free, which they're doing a good job of so far. So right now, Envy don't know what's happening as Gen.G kind of reset into what looks like more B pressure, but now they're finally walking A again. So really keeping things confusing as far as Envy are concerned.
Revealing area.
Slow play, just trying to get a quick reveal. Doesn't look like that'll tag anybody necessary. Sean's able to stay safe, and the A work is going to happen here. It's just about committing right now. As Food goes for a quick peek. 2 ults ready here for Gen.G if they want to activate right close to the site. If Spike is down, they have a huge advantage with the Hunter's Fury. And the first few shots have to count. There it is. They use it right away to cause the chaos. Both ultimates snapped at the same moment to cause MV to think twice, and it works. 5v3 here. It's a retake if they want it.
You have to credit Gen.G for playing a really good attacking side so far. Again, we saw them setting the default, setting the early timings of the round where they're going to be. Then we saw them creating this situation where they slow it down just enough, where Envy gets kind of scared because Envy want to push at the extremities, but they know that there's an information trap set up for them if they do that, because Gen.G is slowing things down, so they're going to catch that. And so then they're keeping Envy in this position where they've lost information and they can't get it back, and without a huge risk. So and then now they're playing Gen.G just following up by playing the positional game super well, and they're winning on positioning. That's perfect if you're an attacking team because you're not relying on just mechanical fights.
Yeah.
And so now Envy, they've got to do something here. They've got to get aggressive to try to just throw a wrench into the mix.
Ooh. And that's gonna put a hurting on the money. We did see one person over there on the side of Envy with quite a bit of cash. But you can see the Spectres coming out. We expected this to be a round that was gonna be hurting for money. Mame was saving up. Mame's usually a guy that'll buy a Bulldog, hold that forever. And Bulldog to Operator is something you'll see commonly. I love that combination. It feels like a very similar peaking pattern. Peak, get out, peak, get out. And the transition right there, if you need to drop to somebody or buy next round, just works out really well. You feel set up for it. He's going to try here from lower to see if that calibration is ready for himself.
I love this too, just putting the Operator on a position like A short. Also with them, you can see he's playing an angle where he can TP out. This, obviously, Jet can do the same thing. Reyna, if she gets the kill, can dismiss. And there's Caboose around the corner using the showstopper, trying to find ways to get value. We talked about this sense of urgency for Envy to try to take control of something early on and just put the aggression on. And they're trying to do it around A lobby. This is the response. Gen.G realized that there's so many players there. They're going to push B. Great defensive shot coming through from Kratchis. He's got to hold on for long enough. Food is there with the Bucky looking for some fun. And the Bucky's not good enough this time. GMD to take him down, and it's looking rather grim here. Gen.G, they've got so much to work with. Just splitting off onto the C side, keeping Envy on their toes. And now it's a 3 versus 2 off the plant scenario for Gen.G.
Imagine if that's a Phantom and not a Spectre off of being forced into somewhat of a half eco round. It's, oh, that shot there. You just feel jaded by the gun when you see that large spark come off his head, but that still means he's low. Doesn't matter. Mame's going to overkill on that one with the Operator. And Caboose, he's going in. He's got a blast pack. Blast pack with the Bucky. He's feeling confident right now. You can absolutely make a play here. Maybe right into the window. Makes a little bit of noise. Oh, the Trickster gets him. GMD goes down. Twin trades back onto Mummy, and it's just going to be a back and forth here. Taunt him out. Half defuse. Pros don't fake. Pros don't fake. Oh, he has to get off knowing the peaks are coming in from Hwyn. Turns his head as Caboose tries to duck. But Hwyn hits the brim of his cap and knocks it all off together. There it is, 6-2 now. I said that this was going to be a tough map for Envy, but also that Gen.G usually grabs most of the rounds on defense. So this one seems all but wrapped up if they play to their statistics.
Yeah, it's such a great attacking half. I can't really stress it enough. They're just doing such a good job controlling the information game. And then that allows them to win the positioning game. And then when they're making these moves on the fly, when these kills are getting traded, they're just making good decisions as a team. And we saw Envy trying to invest a lot on A lobby last round to get the initiative early working in their favor, but that didn't work out either. And so now they're kind of struggling. We get the early Hunter's Fury there from Crashies. That's a great angle. Able to punish, and we can see that there's a reaction from Gen.G trying to charge into the C site. Finesse able to defend there as well. And now, finally, Envy, coming off the better of these early exchanges, having to use an ultimate for it, but still, 3 versus 5 for Gen.G, and they got to try to work the positions that they have here, Riv.
What an interesting round. Envy is staying on their own side. I don't know if I've seen this before. That's working out for them, though. They're letting Gen.G come to them. One of the benefits of being on the defending side, and Envy definitely do a little bit of a paradigm shift here in how they consider the approach. A little damage over. No, Kusa doesn't take anything on that. He will have a good bit of utility. 45 seconds left. Feels like the world if you know what you're doing. And he has a lot of time. One to the right, grabs a bit of info, but they just surround him from everywhere. 3 for Crash, he's there. Envy's starting to feel good as they pull back. You got to be careful around these rounds when everybody starts getting their ultimates ready. They start stringing those together between teammates from round to round. It starts to really change how the game is flowing.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to see that we'll see a play from Food here with a run it back, maybe some kind of a setup towards a lobby to try to once again take that early control. And actually it looks like he's gone back towards mid, which makes a lot of sense given the fact that Gen.G's defaults often start with this early timing, heavy presence around the middle area of the map, and then they go back to A later on. But they're mixing things up a lot here on Envy, really keeping them guessing, charging towards the safe site, and Finesse sitting in the cage. The daggers come out. Oh, it's actually going to whip the right click, allowing FNS to survive for longer.
Push mid already.
They can't deal with this position. They're stuck right now. They can't gain ground. Envy are defending very well, and there's just nothing left.
What?
Just like that. Open and shut.
That was just a read and a half. There were 3 mid to start, instant transfer over to A once nothing was seen, and the team collapsed. You saw Caboose into the window 5 seconds into the round, blowing up the Cypher gate on the back. You had the call into sight because all the action was there, and if it didn't happen right away, Caboose was he was there on the end, being the Caboose, as he should be. Everybody you can see participating on the scoreboard there for Envy around the board to get this game back into their hands. And again, they'll do that little bit of a push down. Uh-oh.
And there you go. It's going to work out beautifully well for Envy. You know that at these early timings of the round, it's going to be quite likely to find these Gen.G players. I'm liking that Envy have the confidence to make some plays. You can see that they know how to coordinate around their utility to do so.
Yeah.
And Gen.G, they don't have anything left here. The spike is down in grass. It's in no man's land. There's no real way to recover that without hitting some crazy shots. Cruz is going to work on that, but he's only good for the one right now. And GMD, all he can really do here is do some extra damage to the economy of Envy, but he won't be able to accomplish that. Again, this is what you're looking for. Gen.G, they do a great job playing the information and position game. Then we get Envy having enough of that, using their confidence, and just tackling things head on at the start of the round.
And how is the last round played? 3 strong towards A here. Nothing on B this time. So it looks like they actually are gonna get a flash down curveball towards long C. Maybe a quick push down. You see a Cypher trap on the site in a few spots. It feels like a retake. And Spike's getting work for Gen.G towards that mid area. So it seems like it's just a slow default round for them. They won't
Back
decide
to the
push.
basics.
Yep. There's the Hunter's Fury.
Caboose, oh dear, able to get that one. Sean, great entry from him. The run it back pops immediately straight towards C-Link. Will get dropped, but there is control towards A-Link here for Gen.G. That's really important, getting extra post-spawn control here on this site. Trace coming through as Envy force the issue, looking to try to find a way onto that B site. It's not happening just yet. And again, they're having to deal with these forward positions. But Win here just waiting. White A-Link is just wasting so much time, and he's still alive. That's allowing so many individual fights to go the way of Gen.G here.
And they're just picking them apart. They're not. There's too many angles for Envy to look at here in these rounds that Gen.G starts to get a hold of. Into the site comes FNS and one more. That's food. They're going to be able to drop the 2. It's now a very big possibility they get this round. The defuse now to 90%, and that's the lock-in for a 6-6 first half.
Switching sides.
What a great game we have right off the bat here, Rip. This is what you want to see. Gen.G clearly doing their homework, and I really have a sense that Envy knew what they were going to be up against here in terms of the attacking side of Gen.G. Yet still, they struggle, and it's just because of Gen.G walking into this game with just quality, just confidence and quality. They've clearly done their work, and they've gotten off to a great start. And like you said, Gen.G on that defensive side, they've got a lot to say for themselves. So with a start like this, 6-6, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Not at all. Not at all. We'll see if their defensive stats stand true here for Gen.G. They can grab their first map that they picked themselves. And coming from attacker side, this feels pretty good here. We start things off. GMD is going to see a few down towards long. He'll call that out, and it does look like there's a bit of a push already here for Hwin. Why not? Being the Jet, you want to try to cause chaos right away, and they'll see him. So he can create the pressure here, hang out, and maybe draw a little bit of pressure as the team sets up a little more utility. So drawing some nice time to stall out Envy to start here from Hwin's push.
Well, the poking and prodding, sending out the feelers, but it looks like finally Envy looking to gain some more control here. Gen.G, though, moving straight forward into the fight. They do not care. They want to win it in Garage, but it's going to be even trades more or less. Gen.G are a man down in Crashies, has found his way to the back of B. Oh, he's given his position away. That's an opportunity for Win. One that will not be seen through to the end, unfortunately for him. And Envy, they're going to see it through to the ends. Picking up the pistol just as Gen.G did in the first half. And it's going to be interesting to see a different look on this attacker default from Envy, because they don't play the same style of that Gen.G do.
Nope. I mean, you saw them right in the sight there. They're like, oh, gain more ground. That's what we want to do. Already pushing through, back of sight, going to spawn from C. Yeah, they want to get in your face immediately. Obviously, buys for them. We'll see what Gen.G decides to do. We have seen teams going for the buy just with the way you can econ the first few rounds if you're feeling comfortable with possible light armor on your first gun buy. But they go straight eco, stack on C.
Straight into the action once again. They're just charging down. Oh my god, that's scary. Everyone from Gen.G is just on the chase right now. And well, that's a free A site, which has been confirmed by Envy. Gen.G, though, they feel dangerous right now, moving in a pack.
Love to see that camera pulled back so they can get into sight as fast as possible. The dart was used to get down C, but that gun in a death ball could be very, very useful. A bit of a rotation. You're still going to have Sova come from the other side so they can get an efficient dart down into the site when necessary. Shots getting fired here. Food cleans up 2. 20 HP, finds a third one. His second 3K coming up quick in this match. And just a troll from FNS as he's creeping up on Mikhail there. They get another round for themselves. 8-6 as Envy takes the lead and some expected rounds after pistol. And see if it happens here again. That was a full save for Gen.G, so they're coming out firing here on the third round of second half.
And it's a scary prospect too. Food's the guy picking up a lot of these anti-eco kills, and that's going to have his run it back available immediately against the first gun round of Gen.G on the defense. So Gen.G are in a somewhat of a scary position here. They know they're up against this bonus round. There's a lot of Spectres in play. There's a run it back in play. So they've got to be thinking to themselves, what do we think is most likely from Envy to, to make best use of that ult and these Spectres? And Envy kick off the pressure, taking garage control. They don't have to finish onto the C site with a split. We'll see, though, that is exactly what they're going to do. Not messing around. There's the run it back. Great paranoia. That's going to deal with that. And it allows GMD to keep position as Kusta tries to maintain that backside control at the same time. But Caboose denies it all.
Caboose thriving in the chaos of the site right now. That's going to be a hot foot for Hwin as he goes down. Nice hot hands from Food. And now they're just trying to figure out where the stragglers could be trying to come from here on the flank. You see going straight back down towards C. Envy gets positions covered everywhere. And Gen.G may be losing a little more control than they like here in the game. Envy, the first seed, playing against the 8th, expected to do well this game. But looking at that, 75% win rate for defensive side for a Gen.G recently. You'd expect that to come into play here. Maybe they just need to figure out what the precedent is that Envy is going to be setting. We saw aggression in the first half. Envy sat back to Gen.G's and it started to turn a bit. So maybe that's the plan they deploy.
Yeah, it's really scary as well when you're playing against these bonus rounds, because if they do manage to get a site take on you, they got on top of you, and you can't hold onto the site.
Yeah.
Defending the retakes is not as bad as you may first think, because the Spectres, you can play them from close range around the choke points. There's a lot that you can do, and it's very difficult to deal with. So it's definitely tough times now for Gen.G.
Yeah.
Not too much to work with, and they have to save. They've got the couple Vandals in play, of course. But other than that, it's hard to see them having success in this round. We'll see what those win conditions will be as the round progresses, as maybe they find some early opportunities. But Envy, they are one of the most consistent and strong teams in the business, and it's because of the way that they play their attacking side as well as their defensive side. They don't try to take the gambles. They try to work the information and positioning just like Gen.G did so well in the first half.
An attack pause being used here just to shore things up. And look at Gen.G's buy here coming in. They may choose to do a few more things. It's a little off, but protecting what these Vandals will be. You can see they're putting them in the same site. That'll be Vandal retake if that is necessary. And it'll be a pretty good one, as obviously he's going to run out of the site now. Okay, Sean. Thanks. Thanks, Sean. But yeah, maybe they just want to split up the power, get a first push out here, cover him to get some shots down. Mikhail's going to be alone in the site as he works this.
Yeah, you can see that they were looking to make a play, Gen.G that is, on the defense with a couple Vandals in that mid position. They had the ability to split with the carriage players, but you can see Envy are keeping it safe. They're watching for these pushes. They're using the drone, the boom boss. They're just using all of their utility to keep everything as safe as possible to prevent their opponents from surprising them. It's up to Gen.G to be creative in a situation like this, and it's Win to replace this position that maybe Envy feel like is clear, but we'll see how diligent they are. Win jumps around the corner looking for Caboose, but Caboose is just a little bit too far away.
I like it. I was kind of hoping they got a lot closer before, like, the Vandals surprise was, you know what I mean, shown. They haven't really shown that they do have those Vandals coming in for themselves here, but they are avoiding Gen.G in that buy very accordingly on the side of Envy. Now getting themselves into C site. Showstoppers there if any trouble comes of this round. So it looks like another round here for Envy, and this is that buy for Gen.G.
30 seconds left.
With two Vandals on some, and they're just trying to squeak out whatever rounds they can here. They know once Envy gets a stranglehold on the game, it's very hard to get back in.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things, too, where we saw that Gen.G were calling the shots. They had that good start, and they were able to really capitalize on sort of how they were conditioning the defense. And that's the same kind of situation that Gen.G are in now. Then they're in this position where they're going to have to find a way to take the initiative, take the game away from Envy's default, and that's going to be very tough to do, and it is going to require some element of fortune and some element of somebody being creative and really finding just a great performance individually. And in terms of the ultimate economy, Caboose is sitting on a showstopper right now, and that's kind of a scary prospect. Sean is able to, if he's able to get hold of an orb, which he will be playing for that A long orb, can get a run it back, but it really does feel like Envy is set up quite well to do some early damage here again. It looks like they may focus on that garage control.
I'd love to see this round pull out as much util as possible. A simple default, crash these plants. He also gets an ult on top of the showstopper you're talking about right there. And then they are really nicely set to just grab round 11 here and may not even have to use those ults depending on the shots fired. In Food, playing with his food right now, pops into sight with the curveball out. Makes a shot happen before it goes off. They're going to keep taking a little bit more control here over C. Already FNS on the flank trying to watch window. GMD takes him down though, feeling comfortable, but now 10 HP, has to call for the cavalry before he makes a move. And Mame knows that is a very low omen in the window, but he's looking at the wrong way. Timing occurs, and Dan, this could be a possible retake. 4v2, there's the showstopper.
Nice by Caboose, not to overcommit. He's played it perfectly, and that's going to leave very little left in the tank for Gen.G. In fact, just one man left standing. And although Mikhail is going to be able to get one kill, it's going to be a tough ask to find the remaining two with the time that he has. These, of course, are professional players. They're going to use the clock against him. In fact, Food, he's found his timing, and Food is pretty nuts. That first entry rip, I mean, sometimes people talk about aim, right? And they're thinking about moving the mouse around, but it's the elements of focus and pre-aim and visualization there that allows Food to not have to move his crosshair. You can see that it's positioned perfectly as he emerges onto the site, and he just is so fast, his reaction speed, because of how he understands how to like visualize and anticipate and use his experience. So didn't even have to move the mouse.
So good. Just like that hip fire, a little hip fire there. Oh, no, I don't want a curveball. I want the quick kill. I actually thought he threw the curveball at first, so I called that wrong. Just all happened so quick when that gate came up. Food being that fast. And a few ultimates around the board here. We do have that spike going down last round. When you will have crashies with that Sova ult now. Caboose just being a nuisance here. Trolling GMD as he pushes long. And they'll be able to get big info off of that. And you know, Gen.G has to do a few of these things, right? They need to get a bit more info. They can't just wait for Envy to be on their front doorstep each of these rounds. Sean's doing a good push here. Imagine if, you know, GMD still just gets the long C. They have every info that it's going garage or mid. So things like that pay off, but Envy's ready.
They're definitely ready. They've played the pacing really well. We'll go back to that point in a moment because we can see that Gen.G are trying to throw some challenges in here. They're forcing the action. Very nice dodge from Win. He can't keep himself alive, however, as Envy have control of this mid position. They're able to rotate quickly, and they're looking to go for that C side. They understood exactly what Gen.G were doing, and so they know that the C side itself is open. Great play from Kusta, though, using the cage, using the trip to be able to hold onto backside. Key position to get his teammates to rotate through, to help him on this retake. Another trip connecting, and Envy is still finding a way to defend, but there's Sean in the 1v1. It's going to be a tough one, but we'll see if he can do it. Oh no, Caboose, of course, is waiting on the body. I didn't even recognize that in time. I was just so hopeful for Sean, but it's not going to be enough, and it's just a clean sweep so far in this half.
It's going up in fire, Dan. Look at it. It's on fire.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Hopefully they've brought the water. They can get everything put out. There's still time. Ultimates here to be used. They have to be able to follow somehow. Who's on deck? So 0 out of 6 and 3 out of 7. So not even on deck for Sean and Mikhail. They'll have to rely on the Blade Storm here. These ultimates may just be forced out. And it's Envy with the Sova ultimate still. So if the plant starts to go down, there's a way to deter that on the side of Envy. Diffuse, rather. And there's a way for Envy to just kind of play that safely.
Different pacing from Envy, and also just all walking up towards mid. Really, I don't think that this was expected at all by Gen.G. Envy keeping things fresh as they take control of B. They're walking through A link right now, maybe considering looking at the flank if there was some action for Finesse there on short, but he does lose that position, so they'll settle on the B site. They've got no post-plant positioning. They're just on the site right now. We'll have to see if they, I mean, they're hitting the shots, Rift, so maybe it doesn't matter.
Envy goes B the first few rounds, leaves it up to the A and C for the rounds in between. And they're like, you know what? Let's just train this one into B real quick, and we'll take the win 13-6.